Hey everybody, at the Movies with Film, Film Brown here, back at you. Got a really fun film for you tonight. One I think you're going to find somewhat perplexing if you're a Bert I. Gordon fan. You know, Bert I. Gordon, he's known for actually working with things that are enlarged. Always working with big things, giant things, dealing with Amazing Colossal Man, War of the Colossal Beast. Everything gets big and out of hand. Well, this film is rather one of his quiet films. And who's to know if maybe this is sort of the side of Bert I. Gordon, the sensitive side. This is him as the poet, as the auteur who's revealing a certain kind of sensitive side of himself. We're talking about a film called Attack of the Puppet People, 1958. Now, for my money, it should be called Attack of the Doll People, because they're more dolls than they're puppets, though at times they do get to be used as puppets. And John Agar does a fantastic job in a little puppet scene where he beats the crap out of another puppet. Really great scene. Don't miss that. It's near the end of the movie. He just really demolishes one of the puppets that he's kind of forced to have to perform with a little bit. This is a sad movie. Touching film. I really was kind of moved by the acting job that John Hoyt puts on in this film. He plays an old puppeteer who becomes a doll maker who creates this device that allows him to shrink people down. He's a very lonely man. And we find out earlier, as the film progresses, that there was a woman in his life that left him, and it makes him rather bitter, and he's a lonely person. And he wants people, but he wants people so that he can control them, so that they can't run away. So what does he do? Well, people that he likes, people that he kind of shines up to, like the mailman, like a military officer, like John Agar, like his secretary. He shrinks them down, puts them into suspended animation, puts them inside of these little tube-like things, sort of like what Dr. Pretorius does to his little fellows in the Bride of Frankenstein, but these are in suspended animation, so they don't move. Puts them on display in a glass case, but every once in a while he gets them out, dumps them out onto the table, and they wake up when they have some air to breathe, I guess, and he gives them a little party. He puts a little record player on and asks them to dance and things like that. They don't like doing this, but they have really no choice. And, this John Hoyt, he doesn't really mean any harm in what he's doing. I don't know why these people kind of kick up a fuss. Like one of the characters says, hey, it's a life of luxury. However, an old puppeteer friend of his drops by and sort of causes some troubles. At the same time, one of the people, just prior to becoming a puppet or a doll, complains to the police. And the police start sticking their nose into things. And that can't be a good thing when the police start sticking their nose into things. Well, from there, it gets really bad, and John Hoyt has to really sort of make some key decisions in regards to his doll people. The special effects for this film are kind of good. Notice how I put that, kind of good. Okay, I don't really want to go out on a limb and commit myself on this, I guessing. One of the things that I had a good time doing was trying to figure out the ratio of sizes and things in this. It seems like certain things, okay, if you shrink somebody down and they're about this big, I'm just trying to figure out how big certain items would be, miniaturized objects and enlarged objects that you would have to create this background world for these characters. Telephones, large telephones, cans of paint, screwdrivers, things like that we of the normal size would use look small, but if we were shrunk down, they'd be quite large. Well, I had a good time in that, and I think you might have a good time trying to figure out if they got that all right. There seemed to be something wrong here. There were cans of paint and screwdrivers that just seemed way out of whack in the sizes they should be. Sometimes when a film poses those puzzles to you, you can't help but sort of grab a hold of them. This film also, what's interesting about this, and I think you'll want to get out your squeegees and clean off your drive-in screen. We might want to do that a little bit later ourselves. Has a great scene where John Agar takes his girlfriend Sally, to the drive-in, to the Passion Pits. They make out a little in there too. And what's cool is the movie that they're watching is The Amazing Colossal Man. Talk about quoting yourself. Amazing. Bert I. Gordon's characters are watching a Bert I. Gordon film at the drive-in, which is perfect. Couldn't have asked for better timing myself. Now, the issue comes up here, too. The man who wrote this film, George Worthing Yates, You know, he also wrote The Amazing Colossal Man. So I'm betting, you know, if me and a pal got together, if Smokey and I, for instance, got together and wrote a movie, we might have our characters watching television, and what we might have them watching is one of our intros from At the Movies with Film. Wouldn't that be kind of a neat little quote? That's what you got going in here. And films love to quote each other, and I'm thinking that this guy maybe makes me think that this is very much of a personal statement by Bert I. Gordon. Yes, I have this size complex, but when you get down to it, I'm a sensitive man. I'm a man who's lonely. I want people to like me. But people don't like me, so I have to control them. Well, there's two ways to control situations. Get big and pound them on the head. Or make them small and put them in little display cases. That might be the way to go. 1958, Bert I. Gordon, Attack of the Puppet People. John Agar does one of his great eating up all the scenery types of performances in here. Love that scenery. Beats up that doll or that puppet. Think you'll like it too. Let's roll 'em, Smokey. Got to clean that screen off here. Yeah. Already.